All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my third review now for HBO's prequel series for Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Episode 3. This is called Second of His Name. Alright dudes, so I definitely wanted to do this review, continue with our reviews for House of the Dragon. Don't know if I'm going to be able to do a review every week for this whole first season. The series has been renewed for a second season, so we know that we're going to be going ahead and getting to see a second season of House of the Dragon. Not sure if it's going to be next year, 2023, or if it's going to take them 2 years to get that done. Hopefully we can get to see a season 2 of House of the Dragon in 2023. That would be great. But this episode here, episode 3 of season 1, Second of His Name, is actually continuously even better than the prior episodes, I think. I think that this is the best episode we've seen so far. I enjoyed the premiere very much. I thought episode 2 was pretty good. And this episode is the best of the 3 for certain. We get to see kind of the, and spoiler warning, we get to see the battle between Damon and the crab feeder, which is really freaking awesome to see. I wouldn't expect to see something like this in like a third episode. This kind of felt climactic, like almost like a finale episode or something like that. And it feels even way more awesome because I watched Lord of the Rings, the first episode, this week, and I did it, or maybe it was last week. It did it well. At this point, it's kind of last week, but within the last week, I watched the new Lord of the Rings series premiere. And I was like, oh my God. So from going from that back to this is like, wow, this is just so much better. It's just on like it's Lord of the Rings for adults. That's what it is. It's Lord of the Rings, but not for kids. It's Lord of the Rings for adults, is what A Song of Ice and Fire, what House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, Westeros universe is. Way, way better than the new Lord of the Rings series, I'll say right there. So this episode just freaking killed it, especially compared to the Lord of the Rings premiere. The Crab Feeder I thought was a really cool villain, and I love what they sort of did with this one, where they had this battle scenario play out with the Triarchy, and the Crab Feeder and the Triarchy kind of had this one spot where they would go into the caves because they got pushed back by the dragons and the army that Damon and the Valerians have. So they got pushed right back. So they kind of like went into the cave. So when the dragon would come by, they would kind of go into the caves and they would just kind of sit there basically to the point where the dragon couldn't get in there. Then they'd have some spots where they would go up and shoot the arrows off at Damon and the dragon and the others. So they found a really cool little, spot where it was a great defensive position, and all they had to do was really just kind of go back in and out. And so you see Damon and the Valerian forces really struggling with how the hell do we get these bastards out of here. And we send forces in, on foot or whatever. If they're defeated, then they end up getting nailed to posts and fed to crabs. And there's a scene of like the one guy who sees Damon kind of coming in. He's like celebrating him, and then Damon, with the dragon, kind of lands on him. The dragon's foot like stomps it, like just lands right on him and kills him, which is pretty awesome. But some of the action sequences in it, especially at the end, totally unexpected for a third episode. Spoilers to follow. We get Damon going in pretty much all by himself. We get the other dragon coming in. And then you get kind of the whole army coming in at the end to defeat the crab feeder. And a really awesome scene where Damon kind of comes out and he's kind of like dragging parts of the of the crab feeder. It's a little gruesome, but it's freaking awesome. And the fight sequences are amazing. And that's one thing from like Game of Thrones that this universe has, is it has some of the best war action sequences and fantasy that have ever been done before. I'm thinking back to like Battle of the Bastards. I'm thinking like the White Walkers, the Long Night, everything else at the end of the series, all these epic big battles and stuff. Game of Thrones universe, Westeros, A Song of Ice and Fire universe delivers when it comes to big battles. And it was totally unexpected to see that in this episode, but I thought it was epic as hell. And so cool. The rest of the episode, so I'll give the episode a 10 out of 10 just because that was totally way above expectations for what I expect to see for a third episode, and it just was amazing. Crab Feeder was awesome, villain too. The only thing I would have liked to seen is if when Damon kind of goes in the cave, they didn't really take time to show us the battle between him and the Crab Feeder in there. They just kind of showed him as victorious, sort of. But I guess we are to understand the Crab Feeder probably was not able to put up much of a fight against Damon, but it just would have been cool to see like a slow-mo in the dark sequence or something there. That would have been cool if they could add that in, but it's already a long episode anyway as it is. So we get some stuff with Rhaenyra, and there is a time skip for this one, a couple years, because it's second of his name. So I think they say, what did he say? That Aegon, you have Rhaenyra, and she's kind of questioning this episode whether or not she's going to be able to continue to be the queen after and take up the throne after Viserys is gone. And so now at this point, Alicent Hightower, who is now the queen, has given birth and is pregnant again. So we can see that Aegon is, what do they say? He's 2. Second name day, right? So he's like 2. So this is like almost a 3-year time skip, because we have to consider that we would have gotten pregnant 9 months, pretty much almost a year, and then 2 years to birthday. So this is almost a 3-year time skip in between episodes 2 to 3. And but it's awesome, really, really awesome point to bring us back to. And so you got a lot of stuff going on there with questioning of what's going to happen later on, and what Viserys will do, and who he's going to name, and whether or not his son with Alicent will take the throne after him. Also, Damon does something really impressive in this episode as well too, which I think is really awesome. But I guess they kind of think of Damon as like a loose cannon, so they don't really want to put him in. Rhaenyra is still there, and he does say that he intends to still keep her being the one who's going to take it, even though he's had a son afterwards. So it's good stuff. They kind of have a party, kind of gets like drunk and stuff, and so there's that in those scenes. But I don't think we need to say too much about that. They're pretty good. We do get to see some Lannisters in this one, which is really cool. We get to see Jason Lannister, which is really sweet, and some of the others, which I just thought that was really cool. Mentions of Casterly Rock, which is awesome if you guys remember from Game of Thrones. And so I think those are pretty much the highlights of the episode for me, A White Stag. They kind of go and kind of do their stuff, and it feels like Rhaenyra is starting to develop maybe a close relationship with the King's Guardman. What did he say? Sir Christian, is that his name? Like maybe something with the hog scene and stuff. Maybe something might be starting there between them, but we'll see what happens with that. Either way, though, it's an awesome episode. I really enjoyed it, and my favorite episode so far for House of the Dragon. And I think that if Amazon Lord of the Rings is going to compete with this being on at the same time, week to week, they're going to have to bring a little bit more heat, because the premiere episode for Lord of the Rings, not very good, and this is just continuing to kill it. So definitely I'll be watching this over the new Lord of the Rings series. Surprising as that sounds, but this is really amazing. So 10 out of 10 for me. Love the third episode. Best episode so far for House of the Dragon. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Love the intro with the old school, Game of Thrones intro music and stuff, and the blood and everything. Really, really cool. And the dragons. Love it. And dragons are always awesome too, by the way. Do I even have to mention that? Like how awesome the dragons are in this episode. Like they're just freaking awesome. And yeah, it goes without saying. That's it for this one, guys. I'll see you again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace later, guys. See you soon.